Hi friends, I welcome you all in this exciting training session being conducted by TNV Academy. Let me explain to you what we'll be covering in this session. In today's session, we'll be covering the clause 8.4, Control of Externally Provided Processes, Products and Services, and this comes under the main clause 8, which is operation as per ISO 9001-2015. The clause 8 signifies the do part of the Plan, Do, Check, Act PDCA cycle. This clause was earlier known as procurement under the old version of ISO 9001-2008. The terms vendor, supplier have been replaced by external provider in the current version of the standard. People working in materials department, purchase department need to be focusing on this particular clause requirements. Now let us understand about the internal references taken by clause 8.4 of ISO 9001-2015. As far as this clause is concerned, this takes reference from ISO 9000-2015 standard. ISO 9000-2015 standard spells out the terms and definitions used in this international standard so that no misinterpretation is done while implementing the requirements of ISO 9001-2015. Now let me tell you what are the key learnings takeaway from this session. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand what are the controls required on external provision, how to apply risk-based thinking in external provision, evaluation of suppliers and service providers. So let's begin our discussion regarding clause 8.4, control of externally provided processes, products and services. This clause consists of three subclauses: 8.4.1 general, 8.4.2 type and extent of control, and 8.4.3 information for external providers. The terms which previously referred to purchasing and outsourcing is now control of externally provided processes, products and services. Now let us discuss the clause 8.4.1 general. The organization shall ensure that externally provided processes, products and services conform to the requirements of ISO 9001 as well as their quality management system. The organization shall determine the controls to be applied to externally provided processes, products and services when products and services from external providers are intended for incorporation into the organization's own products and services. Products and services are provided directly to the customer by the external providers on behalf of the organization, or a process or part of the process is provided by an external provider as a result of decision by the organization, like outsourcing, for example. The organization shall determine and apply criteria for the evaluation, selection, monitoring of performance and re-evaluation of external providers based on their ability to provide processes or products and services in accordance with the requirements. The organization shall retain documented information of these activities and any necessary actions arising from the evaluation. Now let us discuss clause 8.4.2, type and extent of control on these external providers. The organization shall ensure that externally provided processes, products and services do not adversely affect the organization's ability to consistently deliver conforming products and services to its customers. The organization shall ensure that externally provided processes remain within the control of its QMS. Define both the controls it intends to apply to an external provider and those it intends to apply on the resulting output coming from the external provider. This includes supplier evaluation, re-evaluation, as well as inspection of products and services received from the external provider. Take into consideration the potential impact of the external provision on the organization's ability to consistently meet its customer and applicable requirements. The effectiveness of controls applied by the external provider determine the verification or other activities necessary to ensure that the external provision meet the requirements. The type and extent of control to be decided based on the risk management on the supply chain by the organization. Direct, online to 100% inspection are the two extremes of control. Organization need to balance between the two extremes based on the relationship with the supplier and the experience they have with the supplier on the quality and services being provided. Now let us discuss 8.4.3 Information for external providers. The organization shall ensure the adequacy of requirements prior to their communication to the external provider. The organization shall communicate to external providers its requirements for the processes, products and services to be provided, the approval of products and services, methods, processes and equipment, the release of products and services, competence, including any required qualification of personnel, the external provider's interactions with the organization, control and monitoring of the external provider's performance to be applied by the organization, verification or validation activities that the organization or its customer intends to perform at the external provider's premises. Friends, I hope you are clear with the requirements of Clause 8.4 of ISO 9001:2015 with regard to control of external provision. Now we will learn about the mandatory documentary requirements for this particular clause. There is mandatory documentary requirement for maintaining documentation and retaining records pertaining to results of evaluations, monitoring, re-evaluations of external providers. Also, the purchase order placed on the external providers to be retained by the organization. Dear friends, we have now come to the conclusion of this training session. I hope you all must have understood the requirements and concepts that fall under the clause 8.4 of ISO 9001:2015. Also, please understand that this particular clause got a linkage with the fundamental principles of quality management system, principle number 7, relationship management, where organization need to have a relationship with its suppliers so that the value addition can be given effectively to the consumer and customers outside the organization. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, it is me signing off. Thank you and goodbye.